Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dulpreet and I focus on all things related to software testing and automation. So today we're going to talk about a common challenge that many of us face, and that is writing test automation scripts. Well, writing test automation script is not an easy task. It's not just about understanding the application you're testing, or understanding its functionality, or how users interact with it. You also need to know how to code. And not just any coding, you need to decide which programming language to go with. Should you go with Java, Python, JavaScript, or some other language? Each has its own strengths and weaknesses, and the choice can have a big impact on your testing. Then there's the question of which test automation framework to use. There are so many out there, each with its own quirks and learning curve. And once you have chosen a framework, now you need to set up utilities and helper libraries to support it. And we haven't even started writing tests yet. Building tests from scratch requires a deep understanding of the application and the testing framework. It's a complex and time-consuming process. And the work doesn't stop there. Once you have written your test, you need to integrate them with your application and maintain them on a daily basis. So every time the application is updated, your test might need to get updated too. And if there's a bug in your test, it can lead to false positive or negatives, which might mess up your test results. But what if I told you there's a tool that can simplify this process, making it easier for both beginners and experienced testers to write, manage, and execute your automated test without writing a single line of code? Well, that no-code tool is called Testsigma, which is also the sponsor of this video. Now, Testsigma is a cloud-based test automation ecosystem that has some great features which really makes it stand out. First of all, it supports natural language processing. That means you can use plain, simple English to write your test cases, which make it accessible for testers with all skill levels. And then it also provides a single platform. This is something that I really like. For example, you cannot just do web automation testing here. You can also do mobile automation testing. You can even do API automation testing, all of them together with a single platform. And writing tests with Testsigma is quite easy. In fact, they say that you can write your tests 5 times faster than any other framework that we'll use. It is also quite flexible and easy to set up. They provide running your test on different browsers. They have their own hosted platforms. You can run your test on 800 plus browsers, 2000 plus mobile devices. You have lots of options on how you execute your test. They even have AI that can help you fix your automated test if it breaks, which makes your maintenance really easy. So now that we have understood what Testsigma is, what it can do, let's dive deeper and see it in action. Alright, so I'm over here on testsigma.com, and the very first thing you're going to see is this homepage right here. Now within the homepage, you have an option to go to the Testsigma cloud and try it out for free. So in this case, simply click on this button, and there you will have an option to sign up. The best part is you get a 30-day free trial. So simply enter your email and sign up, and you will get 30 days of free trial. You don't even have to put your credit card in. So once you have signed in, you're going to come across this kind of dashboard. So you will see a dashboard similar to this. In my case, I've created a sample project here. And within that sample project, you can see the dashboard over here. Now there's many things you're going to see right off the bat. So I can see my latest runs. So these are the runs that I have already done. So you can see I have tests running on Windows Chrome, Mac Safari, the passing and failing. You can see all of that over here. You can see the automated testing coverage, which ones are pending, which ones are finished. If you have manual test cases, you can see those as well over here. Now, if I just go down, you can schedule your test plan. So I'm going to come to that. You can basically create your test plan in Testsigma. Once the test plan is created, you can schedule them to when you want to run it. For example, I have my regression test that is scheduled for this Friday. I have a regression 2 that is scheduled for this Saturday. So you can schedule your runs and it will automatically run that on that particular time. Now, if I scroll down, you also have the option to create test cases and submit them for review. So in this case, let's say I have this test case created. The reviewer, I've kept it as myself in both the cases. That's why you see my name in both the places. But essentially, you're going to create a test case and then you can give it to review it to, let's say, your senior manager or someone that you report to. They can review it for you. Same thing over here. You might, let's say, if you're the manager or if you're on the lead position, you might see it over here for the stuff that you need to review. And not just test case, but you can also review the individual element. So you have an option to not just go through the test case, but any particular element repository that you're adding in, you can review them over here as well. In my case, I don't really have anything here. So they have different kind of dashboard and this is customizable. You can make changes as you need. All right, so once we have the dashboard, the main thing is, well, how do we write a test? So let's head over to I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go to test development. Now within the test development, you're going to see all of your test cases being listed out here. So I already have some test cases that I've created. You can see the results as well for some of those test cases which I executed over here. And there's test cases that are already ready. And then there is some that is in review. This is what I was showing you on the dashboard, that you're going to see some in review status as well. Now let's go ahead and try to create a test case and see how easy that is. So to create one, you can simply click on the create button right here. And now you need to give a name for that particular test case. So in this case, I'm going to be replicating a search scenario. So I'm going to name this one search, and I think that's good enough. And then I need to add in a URL. So I can just paste my URL, which is practice.s.unicorns.com. Now I can click on record steps. So here I have two options. Either I can write the test case manually, where I will add in each individual step, or I can take advantage of the record and play that they have created for us, which makes it really easy to write your test. So it's simply a recorder tool that you can use. So let's click on the record steps and see what happens. All right, so this test case is created. It's in the ready state. And now it's saying it's loading and it will go to practice.s.unicorns.com. So it's going to my website. Now, once the website is loaded, we will have an option to go ahead and essentially record all of our steps. So there you go. This is my website right here. And you're going to see a Testsigma, let's say a model will pop up on the right, which we can use. And anything that we're going to be doing on this website will get recorded right over here. So right here at the bottom, you can see it's already in recording state. I can click on pause recording to pause it if I want to do that. But for now, we want it to obviously record. So as I hover over to any element, you can see that the element name, or basically that element ID, is being showing up over there. Well, essentially, these are the element locators for each individual thing. So automatically it's recognizing that and it's telling us, yep, that's the locator. I can simply copy that locator, use it if I want to, or I can go ahead and simply just do whatever I'm trying to do. So in this case, I want to replicate a search functionality. So I can see my search button is right here. So I can click on this search button. The moment I did that, you can notice right here, I got this particular new step being added. It says click on SVG tag, which is basically the ID for that particular element. So that's been added here. Now I can go ahead and search for something. Let's say in my case, I want to search for marketing, because this is a marketing website. Now, once this is added over there, I can click enter. And on the right, you can see everything. I entered marketing in the search input field that showed up. And now you can see it's been redirected to a new page. And that modal will come back again. And you will have all of your steps already been recorded, which is really nice because it can remember the context where it is in and it follows step by step to whatever you're trying to do. So there you go. First, I clicked on the SVG tag. Then I clicked on that input search. Then I added marketing and on that particular input search text. Then I clicked enter. You can see it even recorded that press enter or return key. All of that is added. Now I want to make sure that this particular heading and subheading should have marketing. That is my test. Essentially, I search for marketing. I want to make sure in my heading and subheading, I should see marketing. So I can click on this heading right here. And then I can also click on this subheading right over here. So by mistake, I clicked onto this background and I don't want that. So can we make changes here? Well, it's quite easy. I can simply click on this and then I just say, all right, I don't want this step. So simply delete it. You can go ahead and delete that step. Now, what if I want to make changes to particular element? Let's say this marketing span, I want to change this name. I will click on that and I can say edit element. Once I added that element, you will see this update element screen. And this is a really good screen to focus on because here you can see the element name. This is a custom name that they automatically provided. You can see which screen I am on. So in this case, I'm on the search results screen. So that is showing up over here. How they have found the locator. So they have found the locator using XPath, but I have other options as well, such as CSS selector, name, ID, and I can change it as I want to. But in my case, I will let it be like by the default. And you can see here the element locator that they've selected is using the h1 tag. It contains this particular title and it has span for the first one. That's the first span that it found on that page. Now, if you scroll down, they also have some other elements as well. Now, this is where the beauty of Testsigma comes in. It is able to not only find that element, but it is able to recognize different elements within that page. So you have your parent element, the parent of that parent element. It goes through basically entire hierarchy of that particular element so that if something changes in that element, if it moves from one place to another place, it is able to recognize that and it will do the smart auto healing based on that. So if the element moves from, let's say, from the top to somewhere at the bottom, it will know that, hey, this is the same element based on the parent element or the parent of the parent element. Now this is a little bit more complex. I don't want to get into that, but essentially it does this smart locator strategy where it will recognize that, yeah, that's the same element that essentially moved from one place to another place. Now, so that's what we can do is change the element name. So I can call this one, let's say, marketing search heading. Maybe that's, let's name that as my element name. So now that's updated. I can go ahead and click on update right here. Now you can see it's updated over here. Now I can also go ahead and click on this particular thing to change this to, let's say, marketing search subheading. We can maybe change it to that just so it's a little bit more clear to us. And this is search subheading, so let's change that. And now it has its own details. And one thing you're going to notice here is that this one is element is actually not correct because it is hard coding marketing. But maybe I want to change from marketing to, let's say, something else, right? So in that case, I can remove this and simply say, all right, only search for search results for. After that, I can have anything on that element and that would be fine. Now, again, this is just a little bit on just telling you that we have the option to change the element locator as well. So let's update that again over here. And that's it. My test is created. We can click on done here. And all the steps are now showing up over here on this particular test case. So you can see we have 7 test steps. Now, right here, the click on marketing search heading and click on marketing search subheading. Instead of clicking, I want to assert them. I want to assert that the marketing search heading has the, let's say, the text marketing. Same thing for the other one. I want to verify that the marketing search subheading is actually visible. So we can do that quite easily. So let's say for that, I have an option to simply add a new step, and maybe I can just add it somewhere in the middle right here. I do add a step. I can click on that step, and within that step, I can add in details that I want to verify that the text contains some, like the element contains some text. So I can start typing here. So I can just do maybe, let's say, verify element contains. All right, so the moment I did that, you can see some options are showing up. So the first one that is the one that we are interested in. It's saying verify that the element displays text which contains some test data, which is what I want. So I can click on that. And now here it's asking, okay, what test data do you want it to see? In my case, I'm saying, oh, the test data that I care about is marketing. So I can simply just type that in because that's what we search for. So we want that to actually show up. And then it's saying, all right, which element do you want to interact with? Now, if I click on that, you can see all of the elements that I have interacted so far, including the other test cases that I've built, all showed up right here. And the one that we added, which was search results heading, is also here. So I'll click on that. And right here, you can see that my new step has been added, or this is my assertion essentially. So I can click on the create button and that assertion will get created. So that's perfect. Now we can go ahead and add another assertion. Now this time, instead of finding, let's say, the text, I simply want to verify that that element is visible on the screen or on the page. That's all I care about. So I can do that as well. So I'll do another add step. And in this particular one, I'm going to verify that the element is displayed or visible. So let's see if we can do that. So I'll just do verify element. So this is the one that I need. Verify that the element is present, enabled, or checked or displayed. So in my case, I care about element being displayed. I just want that the element should just be displayed. And that the element that I care about is my subheading. So I'll click that. And there you go. So that's another assertion that we have just added. Perfect. So I just made sure that the element that I've added is actually displayed on the screen. Now we don't really need this click once because that was something that we just added to make sure we have access to that element. So I can get rid of them. So I can click on this and I can do multi-select. And then I can simply go ahead and just do delete. I will say yes, delete. And look at that. My test steps have been deleted successfully and I have my entire test created right here. Now you can verify your test by simply running them. So you can click on this run button at the top. So this run is called an ad hoc run. Now here you have multiple options. Well, the first one, which is the easiest option, is to use the Testsigma lab. So as I was mentioning, they provide multiple browsers and devices available to you, which you can use right away. So if you're familiar with, let's say, Browser Stack or Sauce Labs, it's essentially the same cloud service. You have access to those devices for you to use right away. So in my case, let's say if I want to select the OS, I can maybe go with Mac OS right here. I can select even the Mac OS version. So let's say the latest one, or I can go with 12.0. So I will just say, okay, go with latest. I can select the browser. Maybe I want to run it in, let's say, Safari. I can even decide the version, let's say the latest version of the 16.0, and I can select the resolution as well on what is the resolution size for that particular device. If I don't want to run it on the lab, I can also run it locally. But for that, you need to do some local setup to make sure you can connect with Testsigma local agent. And once you do that, you will be able to run your test locally. But for now, let's just run it on their lab and make sure we are able to successfully run our test. So I will click on run now. So there you go. It's trying to boot up the system, or basically boot up the browser. And now you can see all of the test case got executed right away. At the top, you can see it says running right now, but since you can see all greens here, there you go. It just changed to passed right over there. Now I can click on any individual step and it will, on the right, will generate a screenshot for that particular thing. So over here, you can see the screenshot has been generated. I can go to, let's say, maybe on this screen, which was kind of the final screen that we landed onto. And you can see right here that we have a screenshot, which is really nice. You can say it's search results for marketing. I can see all the test steps here, everything that it did, some metadata, attachments. There's lots of information, which element we interacted with, what is the step result. All of that shows up right here. They also go ahead and generate a video for you. It usually takes some time for that video to show up, so that's why I won't show you. But essentially, after a while, the video will show up as well, and you can see all of the logs as well for each individual steps. So this is really nice because right away, if something fails, you have so much information on your hand, which you can use. You can take a look at the screenshot, you can take a look at the video, you can take a look at the logs. So you know exactly what happened when something failed, which is really amazing. That is something really like you get out of the box when you use Testsigma. So there you go, guys. This was kind of an overall end-to-end run on how you can go ahead and execute your test. Basically, first, how to create your test, how easy it is to use record and play to find your elements, how you can edit your elements, make changes to it, how you can add your assertions, and then how you can execute them in the test lab using the Testsigma test lab that they provide to you. All right, so let's do a quick walkthrough of some of the other tests that I have already created. We won't create them. I'll just quickly walk you through on some of the additional functionalities you have when you work with Testsigma. Well, the first thing is you can actually create a group as well. So if I go to step group right here, you can group certain test cases or certain test steps. In this case, you can notice I've grouped the login functionality. So if I go back to my test case and I have this test, which is update account details. Now this update account details will first need to log in so that it has access to that particular account. So for that, I created this group for that login, and you can see right here, this first step is essentially that group. So I can easily add in a group in a particular test case, and then I can go ahead and add rest of the steps. So I can click on this and basically you can see all the steps for that particular login group that I added. So think of it as a before hook or before all step that you will add in, which you can use to be able to reuse it multiple times that you want for different kinds of test cases. Now this is already created. If you want to make changes, you can go and make changes to that group and it will get affected for all of your other tests that are actually utilizing that grouping, which is really nice because you don't have to manually go ahead and update each test every time. You can do it for, let's say, grouping for your setup, grouping for your teardown, depending on how you want to build your application. So that's one of the scenarios that you can do using test grouping. Another thing you can do is data-driven testing. So I have this contact form right here. If I click on this test case, so right here, this test case does certain things. It goes ahead and fill in the name, the email, the phone number, and the message. And what I did over here, you can see this specific symbol that is showing up over here, which is @ and then you see 2 pipe symbol, and within that you see name. So if I click on that, so you can see that this dropdown shows up. And here I can work with a plain text. I can use some parameters. I have some environment variables I can use. I can use some random value, or I can use something like a data generator. So depending on what you want to use, you can essentially pass that in over here. In my case, I'm using the random values, which gets generated by, let's say, they have specific test data that they provide. So you can see right over here, what is a test data and what is an element. So in my case, I'm using that particular test data. Now this test data, they have lots of options. You can use, let's say, for your name, you can use it for, I don't know, for your email, for your phone number. There's different kind of test data that they provide inbuilt, which you can take advantage of. So every time I'm running my test, it will go ahead and generate that test data on the fly so that I don't have to worry about coming up with different test cases and using different, let's say, test name or test email. They will take care of that automatically. You just create one test and you say, I want it to be dynamically run by using the test data that you guys already provide. So think of it as like a faker library or some kind of auto generate library, which they take care of it on your own. You don't have to worry about maintaining it yourself. So right here, you can see all of the test data generators. So you have your, let's say, email functions, the mailbox, you have random numbers that you can get, you have internet like details such as email address and so on. So all of these are randomly generated data that they provide to you, and you can simply leverage it to your particular use based on what exactly you need. So in my case, I needed a email, I needed a name, and I needed phone number and some custom message every time when you run the test. So it's really nice for you to, be able to take advantage of data-driven testing without having to do too much work. Now, if you're thinking if you can use your own data as well, that is possible too. And you can do that by simply going over here. And you can go to your test data profile. Within the test data profile, you can go to, let's say here, contact, which is one of the profile that I created. So here I did my own data set. So here, for example, the first one is I wanted a name with a special character. So you can see here the name shows up. So when I run the test, it's going to go ahead and run 3 sets of the same test. The first one will be name with special character. The second one would be phone with country code. Third one would be only first name. And it will take all of these values each time it will run that particular test. So you can create your own custom data set as well, or you can use their existing data set that they have. Really depends on how you want to go ahead and build up your overall test case. So this is how you can go ahead and create your test. Now you have an option to group these tests as well. So here, for example, I can group it under a test suite. And you're going to notice I've already grouped them under, let's say, I have a test suite for search, I have a test suite for login, as well as a test suite for account detail. Now what you can do is, within the test suite, you can have multiple test cases added. Now you can take it one level higher. You can combine all of those test suites and put it in a test plan. Now you can create a test plan, let's say in this case, a regression test plan. Now this regression test plan will have all of the different test suites added in with different test cases being added to this particular test plan. And then you can decide where you want to run this test plan. So in my case, let's say I've decided I want to run it on Windows Chrome and I want to run it on Mac Safari. You can even say that I want this specific suite to run it on Windows Chrome and that specific suite to run it on Mac Safari. It's really easy for you to integrate this with CI/CD as well. You can see all of the different integrations that are over here. You can set that up quite easily as part of the test plan. And then, as I mentioned, you can also schedule them to whenever you want to run it as well. So here I'm going to click on run and you can see how easy it is to simply execute this for you. So as you can see, it just executed that regression run. And now I can go to the run results, which is right here. And the test plan that we were running is showing up right over here. So if I just open that up, and there you go. So here is my test plan. It's trying to run that. And you can see that the search functionality, for example, is running in Windows and it's running on Chrome. I have some other test cases as well, which is running on different browsers. For example, this search functionality is also running on Mac OS and Safari. Update account details is also running on Mac OS and Safari. So you can really split it up on how you want to run it and where you want to run it as well. And then finally, once the test finishes, you will see a report similar to this. And you can see the number of failed tests. You can see all of the passing tests. On the right, you will have a little graph as well that you can see. And then if you want, you can go into each individual test case and see the detailed report of how it is actually working. So once your test plan finished executing, you can see the results being shown up on your dashboard for anyone to access whenever they want. So there you have it, guys. With its natural language processing, unified platform, and be able to generate your test fast and efficiently, and many other amazing features, Testsigma is really a have-it-all tool in the world of test automation. So if you're interested in trying out Testsigma for yourself, I've included a link in the description below for a free trial. So give it a go and see how it can transform your testing process. Alright, so if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. And if you have any questions or comments about Testsigma, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video.